Hello students. In today's topic of presentation, we are going to cover the capacitive type of transducers as depending on the principle used. So that is capacitive transducers and inductive transducers from chapter 5 transducer, basic electronics 22225. So on the basis of transduction principle, the transducers are classified as resistive transducers, capacitive transducers, inductive transducers, voltage and current generating transducers. So out of this we have already covered resistive transducers, and now we are going to cover capacitive transducers and inductive transducers. So the concept for you have to understand in the operating principle or capacitive transducer. So we are going to check out in this slide. So here you can understand, as you know, capacitor is made up of it is having two conducting plates, and at the center it is having an insulator or dielectric as shown. So these two yellow plates are conducting plates, and at the center that blue block is your insulator. So here the measured is converted into a change in capacitance. So a change in capacitance occurs either by changing the distance between the two plates or by changing the dielectric. So if the distance between these two plates, that is two yellow plates, if you change that, capacitance value will change. Also if you change that the insulator material, that dielectric, then also the capacitance will change. So here you can see the formula for capacitance is equal to Q by V, and Q is the charge, a plate charge. So what is the charge present on the two plates? So that is directly proportional, that is equal to epsilon A upon D, and your V is the voltage, that is equal to E D. So the formula C is equal to epsilon A upon D. Now here epsilon is the permittivity of the dielectric, that means the insulator which we are using. A is the area of the plates and D is the distance between the plates. So from this equation only you can see, if the distance increases, capacitance will decrease, because C is inversely proportional to D and C is directly proportional to A. So if area increases, capacitance increases. So this is the basic concept behind the variation of capacitive transducer. So as the temperature as the physical quantity changes, the capacitance will change inside the transducer. Next is inductive transducer. In inductive transducer, magnetic characteristic of an electric circuit changes due to motion of object. A simple type of displacement sensor variable, inductance type, wherein the variation of inductance as a function of displacement is achieved either by variation in mutual inductance or self-inductance. So here you can see inductive transducer. It is of two types, self-generating and non-self-generating. So in self-generating transducers, inductive transducers, a voltage signal is generated in the transducer because of the motion of the conductor and magnetic field. So that comes in the category. So this is the definition for self-generating transducers. So example are electromagnetic, electrodynamic. And non-self-generating transducers are the transducers in which an external source is needed to energize a coil, the inductance of which would change due to motion of the object. So some examples are LVDT, air gap type. So this LVDT we will study in details. So we have already studied the basic concept of resistive transducer, inductive transducer and a capacitive transducer. So now we will study one application of inductive transducer, that is linear variable differential transformer. It is called as LVDT. So here you can see the circuit diagram of LVDT, and the LVDT looks like this. on left hand side, and right hand side is the circuit diagram of LVDT. So here you can see there is a transformer, and you can see the transformer center, that is ferrite rod. There is a movement. When you do a movement in that ferrite rod, the output voltage changes. So we'll study this. First thing is LVDT, passive inductive transducer. It comes in the category of passive transducer, and in that you are having it is also an inductive transducer, and it requires an external source of power. Then it consists basically of a primary winding. So as the transformer is having a primary winding and a secondary winding, the primary winding, and there are two secondary windings wound over a hollow tube and positioned so that the primary is between two of its secondary. An iron core slide within the tube and therefore affects the magnetic coupling between the primary and the two secondaries. So when the core is in the center, so when the ferrite rod that is in the center, the voltage induced in the two of the secondary is equal, and when the core is moved in one direction of the center, voltage induced in one winding is increased and that in the other is decreased. Movement in the position direction reverse its effects. So as the position of the ferrite rod is moving, so there is a change in the output voltages at the two secondary. So here you can see two secondary voltages V1 and V2. So there will be the output changes. So the voltages here V1 and V2 will be changing as you go on changing the movement of the ferrite rod. So that is all about LVDT. So these are the advantages of LVDT. It has high accuracy, good stability, easy to fabricate and install. Transfer characteristic is linear. Input is directly proportional to output. They can withstand at high temperature. It consumes very less power. It has low hysteresis loss and good repeatability. Rugged construction, its output is very high. So if you have understood LVDT, there is a change in the displacement. So there is a displacement, means there is a change in the places of that rod. So at one point when it is stuck, then you get some different voltage. When you move little from that point to the another point, so there is a displacement now. So displacement is converted into voltage depending upon the magnetic characteristic, that is mutual inductance. So that is your inductive transducer. Now the disadvantage of LVDT is sensitive to straight magnetic fields. LVDT is proof to errors due to temperature. So because of high temperature, the LVDT can give some little bit of error. Now one more passive transducer we are going to cover, that is strain gauge. Strain gauge is a passive transducer, very first thing, that uses electrical resistance. That means internally resistance will change, and resistance variations in the wires to sense the strain produced by force on the wire. So how much force you produce on the wire, so depending on the force, the resistance of the transducer will change. It is a very versatile detector and transducer for measuring weight, pressure, mechanical force or displacement. These are used for measurement of stress and strain. If an elastic material is subjected to tension, then its resistance changes. So different types of strain gauges are available in the market. The strain gauges are wire gauge. So in that wire gauge you get unbonded, bonded, foil type and semiconductor gauge. So here you can see the strain gauge. Passive, it is a passive transducer. It comes in the category of passive transducer, and the principle of operation is resistive. Now here strain gauge, which converts the mechanical elongation and compression into resistance change, so of the wire. Now this changes in resistance takes place due to variation in the length and the cross sectional area of the gauge wire when an external force acts on it. So here you can see this is the wire, and when you put the pressure on its ends, so as you do that, the length of the wire will change, and depending on the change in the length of the wire, its internal resistance also changes. This concept is completely based on the principle. So on this principle the concept is based. So any resistive transducer element works on the principle that the resistance of the element is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to the area of the conductor. R is equal to rho L upon A. R is the resistance in ohms, A is the cross section area of the conductor, L is the length of the conductor, and rho is the resistivity of the conductor in the materials. Now as the length increases, resistance will increase according to the formula, and you can see here the resistive transducer is designed by considering the variation of the length, area, and the resistivity of the metal. So you can see as length increases, resistance will increase, but if area is decreasing, resistance will increase, as resistance is inversely proportional to the area. So when a strain is produced by a force is applied on the wire, length increases and area decreases. So this is how, as there is a change, the resistance value of that material will also change, and that is detected by the transducer and converted into the electrical energy. So these are the different resistance wire strain gauge types. So here you can see wire grid, then you have different torque gauge also, helical gauge. So these are the different types of wire strain gauges. So this was all about the strain gauge. Thank you.